Tiffany at Booktubes, and today is my Kindleclearout Readathon wrap-up. This is actually officially the last day of the Readathon. I won't have time to read any more books today. The live show is on Bree from 11 Words channel at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So if you're watching this the day that it's posted, make sure you don't miss the live show. It does count as one of your bingo squares, but also it's just gonna be a great time. So let's go over how I did. I think I did pretty good for my mood reader self. I actually really stuck to my TBR pretty well and just read books I downloaded, and I'm excited to tell you about them. So we're gonna go in chronological order, starting with Toxic Desire, which is Planet of Desire #1 by Lovett. I gave this book 5 stars. It was a recommendation by Avery from Avery Loves Books, which is one of the hosts of the Readathon. And this is an alien/human romance. So humans have space travel in this world, and she has broken away from the human dictatorship. We start with action in the very first sentence and the very first page. It's really fast-paced. You have your world building as the story goes, so there's no really slow build-up or sci-fi explanations. So they crash on this planet, and after he attacks her ship because humans destroyed his planet, and they are overwhelmed with lust for each other, trying to fight it, but they're also banging a lot. And he's gold, he has a ridged thingamabobber for pleasure, he has venomous fangs which create arousal and help seal a mating bond. He's trying not to mate this human. Then we have our human. In this world also, we have people in the military and stuff that are basically gender neutral. So they wear voice distorters, and their uniform and their face shield, everything prevents you from knowing the gender. And so she hasn't had sex in a very long time. There's your setup. It's a good time. It's them wandering through the jungle, banging each other while simultaneously hating/not wanting to bang each other and trying to survive. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I'll continue the series. I'm not feeling compelled to keep reading it, but it was a good time. Next, I DNF'd Nectar, which is Nectar #1 by D.D. Prince. This has dubious consent in the synopsis. It's a vampire romance, and I am okay with like dubious consent or things that I would not be okay with any regular relationship. When it comes to paranormal predators, I feel like it makes sense for them to not act according to human moral decency, if that makes sense. Like, if they view you as food and as prey, then I think it makes sense for them to treat you that way until you become the special one that changes everything for them. You know what I'm saying? However, this dubious consent happens because she was brought to him for him to feed on. And like the whole time she likes it, but she's like calling him a rapist and saying, I don't consent and this is not okay and you're a rapist. And he's just like, I'm a vampire, fight, that's fine, it's more fun for me. And it's just weird and uncomfortable. And I never made it past that. I do think that the book probably really improves after that, but I just didn't like any of it. I didn't like the way it was presented to us, and I didn't enjoy it, and I stopped. Next, I DNF'd Boss, which is Trinity #1 by J.L. Lora. This is a book that I picked up specifically because it was by a Latinx author, and I was trying to give it a go, and it's a very interesting premise. I liked the storyline. So this girl basically needs to become a criminal boss in order to get revenge on the people who killed her family and friends. And she's also falling in love with another criminal boss. So it was an interesting premise. I liked it, but I really felt like the writing was not that great. I was only 27% through it. I was already looking to be done, and so I quit. Next, I read Awakened, which is the Oracle Chronicles #1 by Moni. I gave this 3 stars. This never grabbed my attention. It is about a oracle who doesn't know who she is, and she is kind of rescued by her protectors who are trying to keep her from the vampire king, who is evil and will use her to control the world. and she sees him in her dreams, and he's going to find out who she is. The protectors, one of the protectors loves her but doesn't ever tell her that because it is forbidden for a protector to fall in love or have a physical relationship with the Oracle, because they feel that if the Oracle were to mate with a supernatural, then she would favor that group of supernaturals, and because she can see the future, obviously that could be a problem. So they're not allowed to have a relationship. She doesn't know any of this, so he just keeps turning her down without giving her an explanation. He tells her he doesn't feel anything for her, and there's one kiss in this book, and that's just not an estimate for me. But anyways, I don't like when the main characters don't hold the power in a story. It gives me anxiety for somebody else to be pulling the strings. That's part of why I like reading about alphas, because I like for the main characters to be in charge. So the writing was good, but the story just never gripped me, and it's not my favorite type of angst at all. Next, I read Her Halloween Treat, which is Men at Work #1 by Tiffany Reisz. This I gave 5 stars. It was a super fun Halloween romance, even though it wasn't super Halloween-y. So this girl finds out that her boyfriend of 2 years is somebody else's husband. She's on her way back home for her brother's wedding and runs into her brother's best friend, and that's her rebound guy, because he has gotten so hot in the last 10 years. And I liked this. Her brother is gay, and he did not care at all if his best friend slept with his sister, which was such a nice change of pace from the "no, that's my sister, don't touch her or I'll kill you" type thing. So that was awesome. Also, his best friend spent a lot of high school protecting him because he was outed, and people were like legitimately trying to beat him up and kill him for like his senior year of high school. And so that touched on a lot. So just so you know, if that would be a trigger for you, I want to let you know that it's never on page. It's just referenced that that she and the best friend were trying to help her brother during those last couple years of high school when his life was awful. And now, of course, he's so happy and he's getting married, and the best friend and the main character, they're really funny, and there's like a lot of funny talk during sex, so if that's not your thing, maybe skip, but I thought it was hilarious. And it was just a good, funny, pretty low angst, good communication, great novella / novel. I don't remember how long it was. Next, I read The Queen of Attolia, which is The Queen's Thief #2 by Whalen Turner. I gave this book 5 stars. This is a reread for me. This is my favorite fantasy series of all time. Her writing is unique, it's subtle, it doesn't seem like that much is going on. But then you get to the end and there's a big reveal, and you read the story, you were told the story, you were enjoying the story, and then everything shifts and you see it from a completely different angle and way. And it's like, oh, not everything was what I thought. I read the story the whole way, and now we see something completely different. And it's just so clever and so smart and subtle humor. And the first book is the most boring, even though it's still enjoyable. It's a little bit of a boring book, like not a lot happens. The second book, more stuff happens. You're following the main characters from the first book. This was my pick for disability rep, and there is a character who is disabled, and we go through that. That happens more towards the beginning of the book. We end up also following a lot of the escalation of tension and war between the different countries, and so that's very interesting. But the ending. Also, there's a great romance in here, although it's mostly off page and there's not a whole lot of it. Still one of my favorites of all time. So the next book, The King of Attolia, is my favorite in the whole series. So I cannot wait to reread it. And once again, I will let you know the final book in the series is coming out October 6th, and I'm so excited. Next, I read 30 Day Boyfriend, which is by Whitney G. And this is a fake fiance / grumpy boss novella, and it was a good time. There's not a lot of smut in here. There's only like one smutty scene, but it was quick and enjoyable, entertaining, funny. Gave it 5 stars. It's a great book. I was recommended it by my friend Spencer at Intentionally Bookish, and you should read it too. Last but not least, I made it 20% through The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This is a very different type of book for me. We are 20% through and we still haven't met the love interest. It's a male-male romance, but I don't know how much it follows the couple and how much it follows their interaction with the children. So this guy is like an auditor for orphanages of paranormal children, and the love interest runs a house for like the most dangerous of the children, and they're gonna fall in love. But also, like, it's clear that the ministry that he works for are not the good guys, and he just like does his job to the T, and he cares about the kids, but like he follows all the rules. And so I've heard nothing but that this book is so sweet and squishy and good and happy feelings, but like I'm so nervous because I'm just like, but like, is he gonna make bad reports about them before he figures it out? Like, what is going to happen? So I'm like nervous. So I'm like reading a chapter here and there, but it is really good so far. Still haven't met the love interest. We're about to meet the Antichrist, which is the child at the orphanage. And it's a good time. I will be finishing it. I will not be finishing it too soon. I'm taking my time with it. That's it. That's all the books that I read during the Kindleclearout readathon. I did have a moment of weakness. My finger slipped and I downloaded 7 new books to Kindle Unlimited, and then I downloaded The King of Attolia to my library app because obviously I have to pick it up soon since I was finishing The Queen of Attolia. So I did download some things during the readathon. However, I read and enjoyed several books that I've had for a while, and so this was a brilliant readathon. Really loved it. I'm glad that I participated, and I hope that we have it again. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.